All right. Before we get into the episode, let's get some housekeeping out the way. I am CiaraNirita, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cake and Conversations. Anything that you hear on this podcast is for entertainment purposes. I am not a trained professional. I draw from my own experience. So, if you are someone who needs to seek additional help or professional help, please do so. Now that that is out of the way, let's get into the episode.
I'm writing the vision and making it plain. Don't think it's a game, and some of it just might be hard to obtain. I know it, but I don't care, cause I know deep in my brain I'm destined for greatness, and I would not get it if I keep on playing. So let me go get it.
Hello, good people. I am so glad that you have come to hang out with me again on another Tuesday. So, today, first of all, I'm in a good mood. I just listened to some good music for the past couple hours, which means that I am recording this a little later than I anticipated, but you know what? It is all good. I just listened to some amazing music and I'm feeling groovy right now. But anyway, today I want to talk about something that I thought about. I've been thinking about for a few days now. I've thought about it on and off a while, but for some reason lately it's really been like on my mind. And what I was thinking about is being a successful woman considered a negative attribute? So I feel like people are talking to me right now and they're either saying yes or they're either saying no, of course not. Either way, whichever side you fall on, I just want to get the conversation started. So yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, I consider myself pretty successful, I would say, when it comes to the things that traditional people, Americans in general, would call success. That's not necessarily how I would measure my success, but when it's other people measuring it, I would say that they would consider me successful. And by that, I mean, the education, the career that I'm currently in, the things that I do for fun, like this podcast, my extracurricular activities, my children, all of those things considered, I think that people would call me successful. Now, I have like mixed emotions about this, and I'm gonna try to keep my emotions out of it, but as you know, that's probably not gonna happen because all of me be all up and through these podcasts, so this is not going to be any different. But I was thinking about that, as a successful woman, and even a successful Black woman, I believe that a lot of times we come under a lot of scrutiny, and we have to put ourselves in these spaces where we are a lot of times we kind of dim our light. That's not good, sis. Don't do that. Now, statistically, Black women are one of the most educated, no, not one of, we are the most educated group of individuals collectively. We are constantly making additional advances and progressing in careers and business and entrepreneurship. All of the things that basically anything that we touch turning into gold. So it can be intimidating, and I am not one of those women who are like, a strong woman is intimidating to a man. I don't really necessarily feel that way. However, I do feel like it takes a lot for certain men to approach us or come to us, or not even just men. Sometimes other women can feel a level of intimidation when in our presence, because they recognize the things that we have and the things that we've accomplished, and sometimes that shines a light on the things that they feel like they are inadequate in. Unfortunately, we as Americans, we live in a patriarchal society, and a lot of things that may seem to threaten the masculinity of some men many times can be frowned upon. And that can be a woman being successful in her career and potentially making a significant amount of money or just more money than he does, which can be seen as her now taking the head of household role, which that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. I'm going to do another episode on that, but not today. Um, and that's not to all men. I think that there are some men, a lot of men out here who are not necessarily threatened by that. Um, I don't think that that's necessarily the default. I think that a lot of our men in society have been raised to believe that they, in order to be a provider, then they have to do certain things. They have to check off certain boxes. And one of those boxes, unfortunately, is to have more income than their wife. I don't believe that. I don't believe that there is a dollar amount attached to your position in a relationship, in a friendship, in anything. I don't think that that's true, but unfortunately a lot of people, even if they don't necessarily say it out loud, if they say they actually believe the opposite, a lot of times um it is a conversation that, or a thought in the back of a lot of our heads, like, is this going to be frowned upon as I excel in my career, as I excel in the things that are going to allow me to progress financially? Is that going to make me then in turn have to live a single life even longer than what I wanted to, or not be approached because of how people may perceive me, even though it may not necessarily be true? Yeah, I thought about that. And so the big question, the big question mark in the sky when talking about this particular subject is, how do we make that shift? Like, how do we make the shift so that we as women are not feeling like we have to dim our light or dumb it down or go over and beyond in building others up around us so that we can have people in our inner circle, so that we can have people that are close to us. And one thing, sis, I want you to know that you are not alone, and that there are women out here who are on your side, who are doing the same things that you're doing. But there's also men who are rooting for you and want to see you succeed and want to see you successful. And they don't care about what the status quo may be. They don't care about what society tells them is right or wrong. And they are amazing men that are on your team and riding for you. So I do want to put that out there first, because I feel like that's a big part of this conversation, is knowing that we have men. I'm not talking about a specific race either. I'm just saying men in general. Knowing that we have men out here who are advocating for us and pushing for us and want to see us succeed, and don't feel threatened by that success, and also are willing to love you in your success and help you get to the next level that you want to be. There are a lot of men out here like that. So I want, first of all, to put that out there and let all of us know that, let all of us know that we are not alone in this. And even if you may feel like, even if the road may seem lonely, or if it may seem like lonely at the top, if you will, it doesn't have to be. Like, you can pull other people up with you. There are people who are striving to be where you are, and that's not to say that you have to, like, always be the one pulling up people, because there will be people that are climbing this mountain with you, climbing this ladder with you. You just need to look around, look to your left, look to your right. There are sisters and brothers that are out here with you climbing these ladders, but we have to be open to engaging with them. We have to be open ourselves up to allow ourselves to be in the same spaces and in the same environments as these people. So again, what do we do to combat the society that we're in as far as being successful women? Um, and the answer is honestly, I don't know. I really wish I had an answer for that question because it is something that I have struggled with myself. I've regularly thought like, not am I too successful, because I don't think that that is the case, nor do I think that that is a thing. But I have, if you listen to a previous King Conversations episode, I cannot recall which one, but it was one of my first ones when I talked about how I have dimmed my light, so to speak, or not necessarily stood on the things that I've accomplished because of the people that were around me. It's not necessarily about a guy. The particular time I spoke about was about a relationship. However, I've also done it with women, with friends, with family, things like that, like just people, because it can be lonely at the top. And like I said, and that can be just my perspective that I'm at the top alone, which I don't think that I am. I do know that there are others that are in the same space, but I also recognize that when women get to a certain level, then we still have those other obligations that we have to take care of. So as you grow, the corporate ladder, if you will, or the entrepreneurial ladder, or the success ladder in general, whatever success measure, whatever you measure as success, as you grow and as you reach higher heights, it does get more and more difficult, especially if you are a mother or a wife, or have a bunch of other hats that you're wearing, because then your time becomes smaller and smaller to be able to engage with those who either are climbing with you or at the top pulling you up. Your time just kind of gets spread thin, and that's unfortunate because I know that for me, it's already difficult for me to uh, make new friends and just be open to a lot of communication. And that sounds bad. That does. It sounds so bad, but it's my truth. It is. It's already difficult for me to be that person, and then for me to consistently ascend to higher heights and accomplish goals that I've aspired to accomplish. As I continue to do that, it feels as if it gets harder to be in the presence of people who are like-minded. And that, again, that could be because we're just busy, because everybody who's striving to reach these higher heights just have so much going on, because they have lives which require them to be pulled in different directions, or even just the accomplishments that they're achieving. Those things are taking up time. For instance, me, like right now I'm recording this podcast. Like, this could be an opportunity for me to be engaged in a conversation with a friend, but this takes time. And not only is it going to take the time that I'm using to record it, but it's also going to take the time because I'm going to edit a lot of those filler words that I tend to use a lot of and things like that. I'm going to do the editing process, so that's going to take me at least an hour or two, depending on how long the podcast recording is. And after that, then I have to do the graphic that I post onto Instagram to promote the podcast episode being released on Tuesday. So there's a lot with, say for instance, I think typically my podcasts are about 20 to 30 minutes. So for that 20 or 30 minutes, I am dedicating, a few hours of time to make sure that I have it edited and produced in a way that I'm comfortable with, that I feel like is of good quality, so that it can be released on time on Tuesdays. So there's a lot that goes into that, and sometimes that can be draining, sometimes it can be tiring. So again, I don't really know how we make that shift. I think that that is a broader conversation that is for more than just me, but I wanted to pose the question to you guys so that maybe we can have this conversation on another platform about, what does it look like to be a successful woman, and as a successful woman, does that automatically make you less desirable to some friends, or less desirable to some men, or less desirable to even yourself? Like, that's a whole conversation. As a successful woman, is that considered a negative attribute? Meaning, is society as a whole looking at it as if it is, yay, go sis, good job, but then, side eyeing you in the next breath? Like, is that how society is looking at it? As if it is a positive, like you're doing great. There's a lot of negative that comes with it. Uh, but yeah, so this is super duper short. But I hope that even though this is super short, I really hope that it is enough to get a conversation started about it. Being successful as a woman, is that a negative attribute? I mean, I don't think there is definitely a yes or a no to that particular question. I do know and I do believe that if people are intimidated by your success, then you definitely need to open yourself up to meeting new people and being in different circles, because that definitely will play a part in it. If you have people in your circle who are just successful as you, then it's not a big deal. But also, one of my really good friends, shout out to Miss Terry Key. She's a Mary Kay consultant, so search her out if you are looking for someone who does amazing makeup. Terry Keys Irving, look her up on Instagram and Facebook. She does amazing work. She's a Mary Kay consultant, super dope. But one thing that she says, and I love it, and she says that if you are the most successful person in your group, then you need to find a new group. And I love it when she says it, because it's so true. If you're surrounded by people who can be seen as less than you in majority of areas, in career, in finances, in education, in just overall well-being, like all of these things, if you are constantly at the top of your game and the people that you're surrounding yourself are not, or even not even striving to be, then you definitely need to change your circle, because you're no longer going to grow. You're no longer going to grow in that circle and continue to be successful. So unfortunately, that can be considered a negative part of success, is that you have to change your circle. And you have to constantly, if you want to continue to grow, you're just going to have to keep pushing forward and keep moving forward. And another thing that my girl Terry says, you're not going to be able to take everybody with you. And I remember having a conversation with her, and she telling me this, and it kind of hurt. It stung a little bit. I believed it. I knew it was true, but it stung a little bit, because it was like, but I want everybody to be winning. I want all my people to win, but I can't want it from them more than they want it for themselves. So in that way, being successful for me can be considered a negative, because now it's forcing me to reevaluate those relationships that I may have held very dear to me. And now I have to reevaluate them and maybe create a shift, or do a shift in those relationships, so that I can continue to grow. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be cut off completely forever. It may be a situation where it's a season, or it may very well be that the season is up for this particular situation or relationship. But yeah, like I said, this is not very long one. I really just wanted to put the question out there to you guys and hopefully get a conversation started about it. Is being a successful woman a negative attribute? Like, what do y'all think? So, let's take the conversation over to Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at CiaraNirita. That's CiaraNirita. Nirita. You can follow me on Instagram. I always post about my Cake and Conversation episodes, so feel free. Give me some commentary up under the post for this particular Cake and Conversations. Let me know what you think. So, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cake and Conversations. Like I said, this is a really short one, but I really just wanted to get this conversation started and put it out there to everybody to join in on this conversation. I did not go live last week because I don't know, I got stage fright. So there's no excuse. I gotta get ready. Yeah, I just got to get ready. So I will do it one day. I really need to get my technology game up because I want it to be a certain level of excellence when I do go live. So yeah, that's what it is. But again, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cake Conversations. I am CiaraNirita. I will talk to you soon.